All right, hold it there. Move it out. Roll the film. And fire! Another 2 seconds of all-Australian masterpiece. It's terrible, Phryne. As soon as I heard he was dead, I thought of you.
I shall take that as compliment.
The whole production is in turmoil. To lose our leading man is bad enough, but like this?
What's the name of your film, Mr. Hirsch?
Bride of Babylon.
And is it a talkie?
Not every film has to be the jazz singer. Surely there's still room for an historical epic free from idle chatter.
Raymond can find a silver lining in even the darkest cloud, which is what I've always liked about him.
I thought it was my boyish charm. Now, I should warn you, this is no sight for ladies. Perhaps, Dorothy, best wait here.
You needn't worry about Dot. She's made of stern stuff.
Miss Fisher.
Hello, Jack.
For once, it seems entirely appropriate that you should turn up.
Well, of course. I'm the one who telephoned for you after Raymond alerted me to the situation.
Well, Phryne is one of the major investors on the film. Being a detective herself, I would have telephoned the police, of course.
Yes, of course.
Don't worry about the inspector. He's very discreet, Raymond. Raymond is one of my childhood friends.
Well, I'd be interested to hear your opinion, Miss Fisher, as a fellow detective, since I have no doubt you'll make your opinions known at some point.
Well, the amount of blood means that he was alive when he was speared. Doesn't appear to have been restrained at all. Drank himself to sleep by the smell of it.
Tragic accident, then.
Either he picked the wrong place to take a kip, which makes him the unluckiest drunk in the world, or else he was placed here.
On purpose?
Well, that depends, Raymond, on these marks on the floor, which suggest he was dragged here in his chair.
It's exactly what the inspector thinks.
Collins, make sure no one disturbs this before the police photographer arrives.
Police photographer? Well, that's all a bit much, isn't it? Surely this is just a terrible accident.
I'm quite sure it isn't, Raymond.
Did anyone have a reason to want your leading man dead?
Do you attend the pictures, Inspector?
Not if I can help it.
If you did, you would know that Donald Everton is one of this country's most beloved screen idols.
Aunt Prudence adored his Roderick in The Mallee Soldier, although that was some years ago.
He had no enemies, neither in the public nor behind the scenes. A true gentleman.
And yet collapsed in a drunken stupor at 9:10 in the morning.
Donald was a professional. He never drank in the morning.
You mean he could have been there since last night?
And where were you, Mr. Hirsch?
Me?
Yes, last night.
You think I murdered him? I had to get my assistant to kill a spider the other day. Phryne, tell him.
It's a fair question, Raymond.
I was out to dinner. I have a house guest. Look, Donald dying is the worst thing that could happen right now.
Well, I'm sure he didn't do it to inconvenience you.
Why would I jeopardize filming? Everything I own is riding on this film. All 4 of my picture theaters are mortgaged to the hilt.
You never told me it was as dire as that.
If I did, would you still have invested?
Mr. Hirsch, I'll have to speak to your workers. And at this stage, I think it's best if we avoid the M word.
So you reckon someone knocked him off?
Oh, we're not drawing any conclusions.
And if someone did do him in, we've got a film to shoot.
Did anyone see Donald Everton arrive this morning?
No, I just assumed he was late.
And you are?
Clara Whiting, my assistant. She also looks after the props, script pages, everything really.
If it helps, I did see Mr. Everton last night. I delivered his script pages to his dressing room.
What time was that?
17 minutes past 8.
It's very specific. How can you be so sure?
A few minutes before, I noticed one of the Sparkies leaving. And he signed out of the book at 8:15.
You're always this observant, Miss Whiting.
Once I see something, it stays up here forever, like a photograph.
What time did you leave the building?
It was 9.
Apart from Donald, was there anyone else still here?
I didn't see anyone.
Perhaps you could have another look around for me.
The inspector does know you're going to snoop around.
Ladies never snoop. I'm going to discreetly search.
I think he's got it in for me.
You always were a scaredy cat.
Because I wouldn't throw firecrackers at the police.
That was just a bit of fun.
Your sort of fun always led to trouble.
Still does. I would have, you know. Still invested in your film.
Why?
Let's just say I prefer the local product to the import. Not the most spacious of digs.
Donald would have changed in a broom cupboard if I had have asked him. He was a real trooper.
Where's the bottle, I wonder?
One bottle in all of this.
I'll help.
No, Dolly. There's just some things a man has to do.
Yeah.
What? Oh, no, Dolly, we don't have time for that.
Picture stars, movie papers, romance. Why would someone throw all these out?
Why would anyone read them in the first place? It's all romance and no action.
Rumour has it the Fatty Finn film Kids Takes will be remade into a talkie next year.
What? Where does it say that?
It doesn't.
That was uncalled for.
What is that?
Ah!
Found it.
Appears Donald didn't like to drink alone. What a shame techniques in fingerprints don't extend to lips. Would you call that purple?
Luscious plum. That's Miss Lily Luscombe's favourite shade of lipstick.
Give a girl credit for some taste. He was twice my age.
But you were in his dressing room last night.
We were rehearsing.
Until what time?
Oh, really can't remember.
Must have been after 9 o'clock. You seem to have come to the same conclusion.
I knew you'd catch up.
Donald needed to rehearse. The old ham would roll his eyes and call it acting. If he looked bad in a scene, I looked bad.
And you weren't about to let that happen.
Well, unlike certain people I've trained on the stage. I've paid my dues. I have a reputation as a serious actress.
Did you two often drink together when you were rehearsing?
It was impossible not to have a drink with Donald. All part of his rough charm. A charm that got rougher with each sip.
He made advances?
The man was an octopus. But I wasn't about to kill him for trying to cop a feel.
If he made unwanted advances.
Miss Luscombe strikes me as someone who can defend herself.
Maybe she did. The bottle was smashed.
But there were no signs of a fight on Donald. No. She was worried that his performance would damage her reputation.
Then he'd have to be the first person killed for bad acting. I didn't realize film was one of your interests, Miss Fisher. I always imagined you as a more astute investor.
That's so I can invest in the odd folly. Raymond's my friend, and Raymond!
I'm sending everyone home. Still have to pay them for this morning, though. We'll resume shooting tomorrow.
Without your leading man.
Life is cheap in Babylon, Inspector. Film, however, is not. I'll have to adjust the scripts, but the show will go on.
Maybe you'll find someone better.
Donald had wonderful screen presence.
Not the most animated performer.
I'm not going to damn the man now he's dead, but action wasn't his strength. Literally. He was supposed to enter carrying Lily and then throw her on the bed. This was their fourth attempt.
I understand this wasn't the first fight you had with Donald Everton.
Well, I fight with everyone. That's what a director does. That's how you make things better. So the producer dishes up these pages of rubbish every day. I spin it in the gold. The actor takes all the credit. Clara? Clara? Coffee? Now?
What was the fight about?
Well, the old codger couldn't do the job.
You mind telling us where you went after you left work last night?
Well, I've already told you. I didn't kill him.
We're going to need more than your word on that.
Well, does she need to be here? I mean, she's not a copper.
No, but I am bankrolling a substantial portion of your salary, so I would advise you to answer the inspector's questions.
Sorry to interrupt. Oh,
Very prompt.
I always have some ready. Mr. Thackeray likes his Greek coffee.
We understand you left the building at 7:30.
Well, I wonder who told you that?
We'll take that as a yes. Where did you go?
Or didn't Clara mention that I like to have a drink or two after work, only we don't finish until after closing? So anyone who sold me any alcohol was breaking the law.
I need to verify your alibi. I don't care who sold you sly grog.
That was the back bar of the Peacock. Are you happy now? He turned me into a lagger, just like you.
Miss Whiting didn't say a word. We saw you thump Donald for ourselves.
Why did Raymond show you the footage? Oh, that little weasel. He was the one that wanted to give Donald the boot.
I did threaten to cancel his contract, yes.
A small detail you neglected to mention.
I knew how it would look.
The man's dead, Raymond.
It was an empty threat. I just wanted to give him a kick up the backside.
I'd like to confirm your whereabouts last night. You say you were with your housemate.
Inspector Robinson, Miss Phryne Fisher, may I present Mr. Jefferson Clark.
Police asking questions. Should I be worried?
You see, the film has suffered a little setback. Well, something of a big setback, as it seems.
What did you do? Kill someone?
My leading man was found dead this morning.
You're kidding me. And they think you killed him? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Raymond seems a little nervy to be the gangster type.
Mr. Hirsch tells us that the two of you dined together last night.
Yeah. So?
What time did you return home?
Well, would have been, say, 9. Then Raymond had some associates over for a little soiree, and we talked business. Mostly.
What business would that be?
Jefferson is vice president at Pegasus Studios in Hollywood.
Oh.
You're a long way from home, Mr. Clark. What brings you here?
Not the climate, that's for sure.
Who attended this soiree last night? They'll need to confirm the time.
You could start with the maid. She's a sweet girl. Turns out she wants to be an actress.
I'm assuming Jefferson's employers didn't send him halfway around the world to lounge beside your pool.
He's here to wire the local cinemas for sound.
What happened to the historical epic free from idle chatter?
There's no reason why talkies can't exist side by side with traditional films.
And I suppose a relationship with an American studio would add financial boost to your future film production.
I'm still considering the deal. Jefferson's a lovely bloke, but he's not the sharpest. Spent too long in the Californian sun, if you ask me. But he reckons if I sign, When Pegasus Studios releases a new film, my cinemas will be the first ones to play.
You tell them I want overtime.
Trouble?
Tiny compared to yours. The studio wants me to play nursemaid to some young actor out here on vacation. As if I haven't got enough to do.
Is he, any good?
Are you sure you want to keep these, Dot? They really are quite fragrant. Not in a good way.
It just seemed like such a waste. And I thought my nephews might like them.
Really? Your nephews are interested in techniques of the Hollywood screen kiss. Don't be embarrassed, Dot. There's no harm in educating oneself in the cinematic arts.
Anyway, here's one on Mr. Palmer. Vernon Palmer Jr., up-and-coming Hollywood star.
Who just happens to be passing through Melbourne. He really is quite striking. Hardly someone who would murder for a role in the Antipodes. Anyway, I think you should pack these away. I'm going to put on my glad rags. Hollywood's coming to dinner. Are you quite sure you won't join us?
I'd much rather admire from afar, miss.
Good evening, everyone. You're looking lovely this evening, Clara. He really is very handsome, isn't he?
I've always thought so.
Promise me.
Phryne, darling, may I introduce Vernon Palmer Jr.?
Phryne Fisher, welcome to Australia.
Delighted to be here. I take it you're my leading lady.
Not exactly, though I'd happily lead you astray.
Would you mind if you're here for a second, Phryne?
That's a kid. Always make nice with the money.
It's so lovely to finally meet you. You were saying you acted with Mary Pickford?
And you would not meet a more lovely lady. Present company accepted, of course.
Well, let's talk about leading lady and Mr. Palmer Jr. headed off, yes?
I seem to be next to you.
Lucky me.
Do you want to tell me how you can suddenly afford an up-and-coming Hollywood star?
I've taken out a loan against my house.
Oh, Ray.
It's all right. If I play my cards right, I'll soon have access to more funds.
Do tell. And how much of your soul will the American studios take in exchange?
I remember a time when you weren't nearly so cynical.
Oh, I've learned a lot about humanity since I was 9.
The president of Pegasus Studios is a big fan of historical epics. Sometimes you strike it lucky.
Are you all right, Clara?
You know, we're supposed to be modern women. We're supposed to be able to get everything that we want. But I wonder if all of that's true.
Do you know, Raymond and I are just friends. It's a lovely shade.
Miss Luscombe gives me her leftovers.
It's generous of her.
So I can do this. A kiss from Miss Lily Luscombe, especially for you.
I'm afraid the conditions here won't be quite as luxurious as you're used to in Hollywood.
There's only one luxury I care about, and that's my automobile. I'm hoping we can make it something snazzy.
Not sure the budget will really extend to that, but...
Oh, I think I know just the vehicle. Almost perfect, Mr. Butler. All you need now is the cat.
Like an organ grinder's monkey.
Don't be so glum, Bert. You're going to be driving one of Hollywood's up-and-coming stars. So all you have to do is keep an eye on him.
Oh, good evening, Inspector. Constable Collins.
What's he like? Vernon
Vernon Palmer Jr., Mr. Butler. What's he like? His Wild West films are amazing, sir. Did he tell you how they do those scenes where he jumps from the freight train onto his horses?
Not that I've heard, Constable. We're not here to stargaze, Mr. Butler. We're here to see Miss Fisher on police business. Donald Everton's body contained high concentrations of a barbiturate.
He was poisoned?
Well, the spears still killed him. Constable Collins has been gathering statements.
3 of your workers said Donald Everton would arrive late to set every day, but you never pulled him up on it.
Film sets are full of gossips.
He argued with the director, failed to remember his lines, and regularly held up filming.
Yes, all right. Donald was past his prime.
Why didn't you sack him?
One of my other investors, a bank, committed funds on the condition that Donald was the leading man. Donald had me over a barrel.
So your only option was to kill him?
Jack!
Your friendship does not exempt Mr. Hirsch from our inquiries, Miss Fisher.
That's not an inquiry. That's jumping to a conclusion.
I didn't kill him.
Who else knew about the situation?
Only me. And Clara, of course.
Someone who wears luscious plum lipstick was in Donald Everton's dressing room last night.
Yeah, I delivered his script pages. You know that.
And stayed. Why didn't you mention this earlier?
What's happening to Mr. Hirsch?
I don't know.
If the police think it was him, they're wrong. I did it. I killed Donald.
With what?
White pills in a brown bottle. I smashed them up and I dissolved them in his whiskey.
Why? You don't know why? Because you didn't do it.
I did it. And what's more, I can give you the pills. I'll show you. The key's underneath the telephone. Top drawer.
Phenobarbital.
We have a little thing in the States called a warrant.
We can search your office now, or we can come back with a warrant and do it in front of all your employees.
Phryne, Clara.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hirsch.
We also don't say anything until we talk to a lawyer.
I've confessed. I drugged Mr. Everton.
Oh, Clara. I don't know what to say.
Are you really going to stand there and let her take the blame?
She's confessed.
Because she clearly thinks you did it.
Phryne, I swear I did not drug Donald.
But you have been drugging somebody, haven't you, Raymond?
The fighting between Gordon and Donald was derailing the film, but I swear I only drugged Gordon. I know how terrible that sounds, but you've seen what he's like. I had to do something.
Where did you get the phenobarbital?
My doctor prescribed it to help me sleep. When I gave a small dose to Gordon, it made him calmer.
And you got Clara to put it into his coffee?
4 or 5 doses a day was enough to keep the peace on set.
So how did your phenobarbital end up in Donald Everton's whiskey?
I honestly have no idea.
You can go now, Mr. Hirsch.
You didn't get anything useful? If you'd let me attend the interview...
So he could hide under your skirts?
Raymond is no coward, Jack. When he was 7 years old, he got caught red-handed with a bucket of stolen peaches. He spent 2 hours in the police cells, and his father whipped him soundly, but he never told anyone that I was still up that tree.
Clearly, he was more afraid of you. Point is, he lies.
Oh, God, I'm doomed. Everybody's going to think that I did him in.
Only you didn't even know Vernon was in the country.
No, but you did.
You were right here when I found out. I'm trying to help Raymond, trying to save his picture. What are you doing?
It's over. It's gone. All of it. My house, cinemas.
Pegasus Studios is prepared to wire you the money to keep shooting. All you gotta do is sign on the dotted line, and we can help you out.
I'm going to bed. I feel as if my head were about to explode.
Yeah, well, you rest up, buddy.
Do you mind if I take a look at that contract?
I left all the paperwork in Raymond's office. I suggest we go back down there, just the two of us, but it wouldn't be appropriate without Raymond, would it? Night. Taking an interest in your investment, I see.
Of course. I spoke with a friend in Los Angeles last night. He made a few discreet inquiries.
That's so.
Seems you're not quite the high flyer you purport to be. Junior sales representative doesn't have quite the same ring to it as vice president.
He got me. I'm not vice president, but I sure as hell ain't the mail boy either. What's the harm in tooting my own horn, huh?
Here you are, ladies.
How kind. Thank you.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Clear the sec. Roll the film. And... action. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Let's swing the camera around. We'll get a close-up of Lily next.
Wonderful, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a true talent. A word? What do you got to lose?
My career.
It looks so real with the pictures.
It's treacle.
Clara, coffee! Dottie. The inspector sent me to collect more statements. Is, Vernon Palmer Jr. around?
Oh, no, you just missed his big scene. He's coming back with the close-ups.
Did you ask him about the freight train and the horses?
Oh, yes, I did. He was very humble. He gave all the credit to the stand-ins. Said they do all the dangerous bits and he kisses the girls.
Oh.
Lily, get the makeup now.
I'm on my way.
Gotta move on, sweetheart. Showtime.
Oh. Fix the bloody fuses. All right, nobody move.
Hugh, have you seen the Americans?
No, I missed his scene.
Stay here. I'm going to find them.
Okay, Clara. Go and get the knife. All right, we'll take it from Vernon taking off his robe. We have Vernon, we have Lily. Roll the film. Action! Vernon takes off his robe. Vernon turns.
Cut. I'm sorry, did I get it wrong?
No. We need to get this covered up for this shot. Look, stab him in the heart instead. Look, I'll show you. Here. Just grab the knife. 2 hands in the heart. Like this.
Stand back.
I don't understand. That's the one we use for the stills. The real one.
The prop knife was found back in the props box.
But I left it out. I put it on the table, ready for the close-up.
Any chance you could have been mistaken?
No.
So when was the last time you saw the prop knife?
It was just before the lights went out.
Where were you?
I put the knife back on the properties table. I spoke to Dorothy. Then Gordon asked me for a cup of coffee. I went to get the thermos.
Leaving the properties table unattended?
Yes, but not for long.
Who else was near the props table?
Dorothy, Constable Collins, Gordon.
Anyone else?
I only remember the things that I see. So after the lights went out,
How long were the lights out?
Less than a minute.
Long enough for someone to swap the knife.
That was meant to kill Vernon, not Gordon.
Why would anyone want to kill 2 leading men?
To scuttle the film?
So how well do you really know Raymond?
Raymond's always been a dreamer, and his dreams are boundless, which I'm sure you realise isn't common in Collingwood. Maybe the fear of ending up working at the tannery with his brothers forced his hand.
Does your insurance policy indemnify you against any loss the film might make?
No insurance policy will do that. Most films lose money.
But you would be eligible for a payout should the film not be completed.
A very meagre payout, barely covering costs.
But an opportunity to cut your losses nonetheless.
This is madness. I've just hired Vernon. The film is going to be completed. Phryne, tell him. Phryne? It was your suggestion that I go ahead with making a film of my own in the first place. Why just screen the latest Hollywood movie, you said?
Where were you this afternoon?
Oh, it's not much point in telling you I was here in my sickbed, is there? No, I must have obviously crept out and swapped the props knife.
Oh, you can hardly blame us, Raymond. You haven't exactly been a paragon of virtue through this.
I was the one who called you in.
Yet you hid the truth of the situation with Donald. You were drugging the director.
All right. What do you want from me? How can I prove to you that I also want this killer caught?
If The Bride of Babylon is to be completed, it would seem to be in need of a director. One who could keep a close eye on things.
You always did have a knack for bossing people around. Don't you agree, Inspector?
Yes. Yes, I believe director would be the perfect role for you, Miss Fisher.
You can operate a camera, can't you?
Of course. Blindfolded. In the dark. That down.
Hey, Annie Oakley.
I think you'll find she uses a rifle.
I'll tell you, this is one crazy country. And back home, society dames are holding tea parties. Over here, they're packing pistols. Not that I'm complaining. I like a woman with a bit of spark.
Why are you here? Taking an interest in your investment?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
We have a quaint custom here. The person with the gun asks the questions.
Just calling the boss, that's all. Gotta do it when California's awake. Permission to stand at ease.
Why are you in Australia?
Like I said, you got a lot of movie houses. The studio wants me to sign them up for our sound synchronization system. It's pioneer territory. Chance to be at the forefront of the new wave of talking cinema.
What's in it for your studio?
We see your country as an important market.
Spare me the sales pitch.
I can't speak for the studio, but the more I sign up, the more commissions I earn. That's all the motivation I need.
And here's me thinking you did it for the love of film.
Raymond is a good guy. I want him to make his movie. That's why I'm hassling the studio to help him out. Guess it doesn't matter anymore, though. Without a director, the film is sunk, huh?
That's where you're wrong.
That's all, driver.
You're bloody welcome. Going walkabout, are we?
So I followed your movie star to a flop house down the wrong end of Little Lonsdale.
And I asked around at the Grand. They've never heard of a Vernon Palmer Jr.
Intriguing. Would you like this? Not really my style. Do you have today's scenes?
Yes, they're fresh off the mimeograph machine I was about to deliver to Mr. Palmer's.
Allow me. She adores you.
Who? Clara?
She'd walk over hot coals for you or rewrite a scene 1,000 times for you. I'm just going to see if Mr. Palmer's in his dressing room. Have a directorial chat.
Yes, of course.
If you see a certain movie star approaching, just whistle.
Mr. Palmer! Sorry to bother you, but, can I have your autograph?
I'll just grab my pen.
Oh, no, I
please.
think
It
I
won't
have
take a
one
minute.
in,
Miss Fisher.
Sorry, miss. I was just asking for an autograph.
Oh, I was just delivering your scenes.
Thank you.
How are you enjoying your stay at the Grand?
Nice little place. It's not a patch on the Roosevelt on Hollywood Boulevard, but it is, pleasant.
Hair out of place.
So I want you to think of Donald and to think of Gordon. Miss Fisher.
The staff of a moving picture are like an army. And like an army, that staff marches on its stomach. With that in mind, I have 3 words for you. Breakfast is served.
I don't want to worry you, but we do have a teensy setback. You see, the actors playing the palace guards have walked out. It's just a small hold-up with the Pegasus Studios money.
That's all right. I have the perfect replacements. Try not to look down the lens. Going again. Action.
Hold. Who dares walk this path?
Yeah, can we hold it there a minute?
Stop the camera.
I'll back you up.
The scene stinks.
The director can have them fired if you like. Just say the word.
No, I mean, the scene doesn't make any sense. I'm supposed to be the hero, am I right?
Of course you are.
Then why do I sneak past the guards?
Well, you've been stabbed for starters.
Douglas Fairbanks Jr. wouldn't sneak past anyone.
You're absolutely right.
He'd take out his sword, kill the guards, grab a rope and swing them both the hell out of there.
Brilliant. Why don't you put your feet up for a while, give us some time to work it all out, and we'll pick it up tomorrow afternoon.
I've done this before. Get me a rope up there. I can walk you through it.
I'm going to need a rope hanging from this girder.
Well handled.
Why would Vernon Palmer Jr. be darkening his hair with boot polish?
Maybe he was going grey.
At his age? I suppose all those daring action films might age one prematurely.
Oh, Mr. Palmer doesn't do the action. He told me himself. He just smiles and kisses the girls.
For someone who doesn't do action, he's awfully good at it.
Who's Jamie Allen?
Where's that feature article? Tricks of the trade. Vernon Palmer Jr. encourages one of his stand-ins. The star. And his stand-in.
I beg your pardon, miss, but Mr. Hirsch is on the telephone. He's somewhat distressed.
That yank says I can't screen my own picture in my own cinemas.
Well, he can't hold you to that, can he?
I signed the studio's contract. I had to sign, Phryne. I needed the money from Pegasus to finish our film.
A film which is now a white elephant. Under the contract, Raymond Cinemas can only screen Hollywood films made by the studio.
He can't screen his own film.
Which means he's ruined.
There are other cinemas.
They're all signing. The studios intend to take over the whole film business.
Wasn't Jefferson the one who suggested the Hollywood star?
I think Jefferson and Vernon were in it together. First, they sabotage the film by drugging Donald Everton. Then, in the crisis, Jefferson steps up and offers to help, but only if Raymond signs his contract. They create the problem, then present the solution.
They killed a man to get control of 4 cinemas.
I suspect Vernon had second thoughts. Jefferson tried to pay him off, but Vernon tore up the check.
I'll bring in Vernon Palmer Jr. Is it the Grand?
I'm afraid he isn't. And he isn't Vernon Palmer Jr.
Very impressive accent, Jamie.
Not bad for a boy from Murrumbeena.
You're working as Mr. Palmer Jr.'s stand-in, darkening your hair to pass as his double.
Standing was one of the few things Vernon could do. If he had to act or kiss the girl, he was fine. But then comes the scene where he has to jump off the water tower or fall off a horse. That's when they wheeled me in.
If it was all going so well, why did you come back?
I had a fall. Busted my leg. Money ran out pretty quickly and I was on the first boat home.
Which is where you met Jefferson Clark.
Had a few beers with him, told him my sob story. Then a few days after we docked, he tracks me down at the boarding house. Says he has some acting work for me. Some real acting work. Only then he comes to me yesterday and says I'm doing too good a job.
He offered you money.
He wanted me to pack up and get out of town just when I was showing everyone I can really act.
You refused?
Blood oath I did.
And not long after, Gordon Thackeray was stabbed with a knife that was intended for you.
I reckon he's gone crazy.
Were you in your dressing room when the fuses blew? Was Jefferson with you?
No.
Then he could have blown those fuses.
I know a way to work this out.
It's like I told you, my memory works in pictures.
Yes, I understand, but can you remember what happened just before and directly after the blackout?
If that will help. I was heading to Gordon with a cup of coffee. I saw Dorothy, Constable Collins, Jefferson, and Lily.
What was Lily doing?
Just heading back to makeup. She was carrying something. A glass of water.
Did she still have the glass when the lights came back on?
Yes. But it was empty.
What was between the last place you saw Lily and the makeup chair?
The lights went out.
That's how she shorted the fuses. By dousing the floodlight.
It's entirely possible that Jefferson had time to get to the properties table while Lily shorted the lights.
They're in it together. I'll go to Raymond's, pick up Jefferson.
You go to the studio.
Listen. It's not too late, right? I can make you a star.
I don't believe you. Vernon's your son now. You promised me. You said I was going to be the next Mary Pickford.
Sweetheart, come on. I'll make the calls now. I will call all the agents. She drugged me.
Stand back.
Well, what are you waiting for? This film will burn like wildfire. Shoot!
Why are you doing this, Lily?
He promised me he was going to take me back to Hollywood with him. If only I'd...
Sabotage the film?
Yeah, but I never told the crazy bitch to kill anyone, okay?
He gave me the tablets. I didn't know what they were, and I didn't know Donna was going to drink that much. I thought he was dead. I thought if I just put him behind a set, he might get speared and he would think it was all just a horrible accident. I did all that for you!
No, you didn't. You did it because you want to go to Hollywood. But guess what? You won't make it there either.
You really are obnoxious, aren't you?
I never told her to kill anyone.
What about Gordon?
All I said was blow the fuses, slow them down a little. She's the one who stabbed him.
It was meant to be Vernon.
Hey!
Well, I have a present for you. It seems that Jefferson was a little lazy with his paperwork. Hadn't sent any of his signed contracts back to the Home Office.
Won't they just send more like him?
Then we'll fight the invaders one by one. Or beat them at their own game.
What did you have in mind?
Jamie Allen, Australia's new rising star, and making her debut as his leading lady and Lily's replacement, Miss Clara Whiting.
Well, I do know the role.
The Bride of Babylon, the all-talking moving picture.
sir.
Yes?
Mr. Hirsch has arrived with a lot of machinery.
I thought that was happening tomorrow.
I'm afraid today is tomorrow, miss.
Coming.
Nearly there.
Halt. Who dares walk this path?
That's it. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure that one line will make all the difference.
It's made all the difference to Raymond. He's achieved his dream. Did you have a boyhood dream, Jack? To tread the boards or bat for Australia?
Oh, to ride the Tour de France, but then the war happened. And what were your girlhood dreams, Miss Fisher?
I'm living them, Inspector.